Marcus Chun had been lost in the Valdorian wilderness for 3 days when he finally admitted defeat. His emergency beacon was dead, his rations depleted, and the twin moons cast eerie shadows through the bioluminescent canopy above. The forest seemed alive with whispers and movements that no human was meant to witness. The Galactic Council had warned against solo exploration missions, especially on uncharted worlds like Valder Prime. "Humans are reckless," they had said in their diplomatic way. "Your species lacks the natural defenses necessary for survival in hostile environments." Marcus had laughed it off then, confident in his training and equipment. Now, shivering in his torn exploration suit, he wasn't laughing anymore. He gathered what dry wood he could find, his hands trembling from the cold night air. The temperature on Valder Prime dropped drastically after sunset, and without proper shelter, hypothermia would claim him before dawn. His fingers fumbled with the fire starter, the small device sparking weakly in the damp air. "Come on," he muttered, striking the flint again and again. "Humans have been making fire for thousands of years. Don't fail me now." The spark caught and a small flame began to grow. Marcus carefully fed it twigs and bark, nurturing the fire until it blazed bright enough to push back the darkness. The warmth felt like a miracle against his skin, and for the first time in days he allowed himself a moment of hope. That's when he heard it. A soft whimper, barely audible above the crackling flames. Marcus froze, his hand instinctively moving to the plasma knife at his belt. The sound came again, closer now, accompanied by the rustle of undergrowth. His training kicked in. Identify the threat. Assess options. Prepare for combat or flight. What emerged from the shadows was neither threatening nor familiar. A creature no larger than a house cat stumbled into the firelight, its scales shimmering between deep emerald and sapphire blue. It had 4 legs, a long tail, and delicate wings that seemed too small for flight. Most remarkably, it had eyes, large, intelligent eyes that reflected the firelight with an almost human-like awareness. Marcus blinked hard, wondering if dehydration was causing hallucinations. But the creature was real enough, and it was injured. Dark fluid blood, presumably, matted the scales along its left flank, and one wing hung at an odd angle. "Well, I'll be damned," Marcus whispered. "You're a dragon." The creature looked at him with what seemed like curiosity rather than fear. It took another tentative step toward the fire, then collapsed, its small chest rising and falling rapidly. Every protocol Marcus had learned about first contact situations screamed warnings in his head. Unknown species, unknown biology, unknown pathogens. The smart thing, the safe thing, would be to maintain distance, observe, and wait for rescue. Instead, Marcus found himself moving closer. "Easy there, little guy," he said softly, the way he had once spoken to wounded animals back on Earth. "I'm not going to hurt you." The dragon's eyes tracked his movement, alert despite its obvious exhaustion. When Marcus was within arm's reach, he stopped and slowly extended his hand, palm up. The creature sniffed delicately, then made a decision that would have shocked xenobiologists across the galaxy. It crawled forward and curled up in Marcus's lap. The warmth was immediate and mutual. The dragon's body temperature ran higher than human normal, and Marcus could feel the cold leaving his bones. More importantly, the creature seemed to trust him completely, pressing its uninjured side against his chest. "This is insane," Marcus murmured, but his hands were already moving, gently examining the wounds with the careful touch of someone who had grown up helping injured animals on his family's farm. The cuts weren't deep, and the wing appeared dislocated rather than broken. Over the next hour, Marcus did something unprecedented in galactic history. He provided medical aid to an unknown species using nothing but intuition, basic first aid knowledge, and materials from his survival kit. He cleaned the wounds with antiseptic, splinted the wing with carbon fiber strips, and even managed to relocate what felt like a dislocated joint. The dragon submitted to all of this with remarkable patience, occasionally making soft chirping sounds that Marcus interpreted as gratitude. As dawn approached, Marcus had made another fire and found a small stream. The dragon, he had started thinking of it as Spark, had shown him which local fruits were safe to eat by eating them first and nudging the good ones toward him. In return, Marcus shared his emergency rations. When the rescue shuttle finally appeared overhead, its sensors locking onto Marcus's location, both human and dragon looked up with mixed feelings. The approaching ship represented safety and a return to civilization, but also the end of an extraordinary friendship. Marcus stood slowly, expecting Spark to flee at the sound of the engines. Instead, the little dragon climbed up his arm and perched on his shoulder, wings spread for balance. The rescue team found them like that. A lost human explorer standing beside a burned-out campfire with a dragon on his shoulder, both looking remarkably well despite 3 days in hostile wilderness. Marcus Chun, called the team leader, a centurion named Vex who had worked with humans before. "We've been looking for you. Are you injured?" "No," Marcus replied, gently stroking Spark's neck. "But my friend here could use a proper medic." The centurion's 4 eyes widened in disbelief. "Your friend?" "Long story," Marcus said with a grin, "but I think the Galactic Council is going to want to hear it." Later, as Marcus sat in the medical bay of the rescue ship, xenobiologists and diplomats bombarded him with questions about first contact protocols and interspecies communication. But his attention was on the small recovery chamber where Spark was sleeping peacefully, wing properly set and wounds healing. The lead xenobiologist, Dr. Keth, finally asked the question everyone was thinking. "How did you know it wouldn't attack you? How did you know it was safe?" Marcus considered the question seriously. "I didn't," he admitted. "But it was hurt and alone, just like me. Sometimes that's enough." Dr. Keth made notes furiously. "Remarkable. No other species would have taken such a risk based on mere empathy." "Maybe that's what makes us human," Marcus said quietly, watching Spark's steady breathing. "We light fires in dark places, and we trust that good things might come to the light." When they returned to the space station, Marcus Chun became the first human to successfully establish peaceful contact with the Valdorian dragon clans. The incident sparked a new era of interspecies cooperation, with humans serving as intermediaries between races that had never been able to communicate before. But Marcus always insisted that Spark deserved half the credit. After all, the little dragon had been brave enough to crawl into a stranger's lap and trust that warmth could be shared without harm. In the end, that's what the galaxy learned about humanity. They were the species that would light fires in the darkness and welcome whoever came seeking warmth.